grace of the fan. The first time I saw Lady Almahin, I was mesmerized by her beauty, partially hidden behind an ivory-feathered fan. I had never before seen anyone at court with a complexion as dark as hers, a rich caramel tint. Her enormous hazel eyes stood out strikingly, and unlike the women of the capital, she wore her bushy brown hair loose rather than concealed under a white wig. Despite being regarded as the illustrious Lady Hamilton, married to the legendary Count Hamilton, a powerful landowner with great estates, and desired by all men and envied by all women, the presence of this new lady affected me. I'm sure you could see it in my violet eyes, my most characteristic and unusual feature, which I knew how to accentuate with my expensive silk clothes and high-quality tulle. When I met Lady Almahin, I was not seized with jealousy or the desire to destroy her, as I usually was when a woman of greater beauty than I came to court. Quite the opposite happened to me. I wanted to be with her all the time. I listened to her crystalline laugh that escaped between her white teeth and exploded on her full lips, inhaling her cinnamon and vanilla perfume as she fanned herself and feeling her bare skin brush against my arm. The first time we kissed was in the expansive garden behind the elegant house that I called home. Our husbands were hunting, so we took advantage of the pleasant weather to walk among the trees and on the soft green grass. Under the white wooden gazebo in the heart of the garden, we stopped to rest for a moment. The fresh air filled our senses with the aroma of the flowers. Being so close to Lady Almahin made my heart pound and my blood boil beneath my skin. When she came to place a rose in my ear, I felt my heartbeat race uncontrollably, and the moment she put her lips on mine, I thought my whole body was going to explode. From that day we became lovers. We took every opportunity we had to love each other, always surrounded by luxury, silk, feathers, and diamonds. Life was easy and exciting. Our busy husbands were unsuspecting and gave us multiple opportunities to be alone. In those moments, Lady Almahin slowly drove me crazy, enchanting me with her soft voice, feeding me the most delicious delicacies with her fingers, and filling me with the most pleasant caresses I had ever felt. Our husbands' urgent matters were so numerous that we spent too much time together. Little by little, I became addicted to her presence. The days by her side seemed to be just hours. The hours turned into minutes, and the minutes turned into seconds. I never had enough of her. Jealousy soon began to torment me. Just as the time I spent with her seemed to slip through my fingers, sharing her with others was agonizing for me. The grand court parties, where I would see her arm in arm with her husband, teas in the gardens, where she fanned herself while exchanging compliments with other wives, and even seeing her at Mass when she smiled shyly at the priest, all made me despair. One afternoon, after lunch in the country by a lake, where she had talked for a long time behind her fan with a pale young man, I couldn't hold back any longer. When we were finally alone in my room, I vented all my anger. I yelled at her that I couldn't bear to see her with others, shook her by the arm, and ripped the pearl necklace from her neck, causing the pearls to scatter across the floor. Between tears and hugs, we ended up entangled on the maroon bedspread of my bed. Once I calmed down, she explained that she had the perfect solution for my jealousy. A way to let me know that, even when she was around others and talking to them, she was thinking of me. It would be a secret sign, a key that only we would understand, and that represented the love we shared. Rising from the bed, she took her fan, extended it, waved it twice towards her body, then closed it, struck her opposite hand with it, twisted her wrist, and opened it again. This would be the secret code only we would know. That simple gesture would represent a long and passionate kiss for both of us, shared discreetly in front of the whole world. It wasn't a final solution, but at least it brought me some comfort. From that day on, every time we were in public and I felt a surge of jealousy, I would blow her a kiss through my fan. And when she responded, I knew she was thinking of me. In those moments, when my lover made the gesture willingly, standing there surrounded by noblemen, and sent me a secret kiss, I melted with love for her. It seemed our love had no limits until, one day, my world fell apart. It was at the occasion of the king's grand masquerade ball. As members of the aristocracy, my husband and I were obligated to attend. Lord and Lady Almahin, exclusive guests from distant lands, were also present. That starry night, in the immense palace, the most select people gathered. Both my lover and I were splendid. I wore a silver gown with a matching mask and my signature fan. Lady Almahin's natural skin colour, perfectly the balance with the gold of her attire, made her look more wonderful than ever. The evening could not have been more perfect. Musicians playing, champagne flowing in abundance, and people laughing happily, carefree. But my universe crashed like the glass slipping through my fingers when I saw the royal guard seize Lady Almahin and her husband and begin escorting them out of the hall in front of everyone. An intense whisper began to spread among those present. Here and there, I heard words like spy and war. I did not understand what was happening. I could only see my love grabbed by her fragile bare arm, being pushed and mistreated by a royal court guard. I wanted to yell at her that I loved her and that everything was going to be okay. But I couldn't. I wasn't sure if it was because I was certain I was lying to her or because I was afraid they would take me as well. I couldn't speak either. I was petrified next to my husband, surrounded by people, unable to utter a single word. There was only one thing I was able to do, a gesture that meant the world to me. I didn't know if she could see me among the people, considering how nervous she must have been. Still, if I couldn't kiss her one last time, at least I would have that moment. I took my fan, opened it, waved it twice towards my body, struck my opposite hand, turned my wrist, and repeated the gesture. It was all over. I didn't know what would happen or who Lady Almahin really was, but I had seen cases like hers before, and I knew they didn't end well. Just before being taken out the door, with a strength I didn't know she had, my lover managed to break free from her guards. She took a fan and made that gesture that only I knew what it meant. She didn't look at anyone in particular to avoid exposing me, but it was clear that it was for me. The guards took her again by force and brought her out of the castle. I was sure I would never see her again. My gaze instinctively went to my husband. Now he was all I had left. I sighed deeply, thinking about how boring my life would be from now on. I was left with the small consolation of knowing that at least we had one last kiss, even if it was through a fan.